first.
Alrighty, same. Sorry, it's because we do so many reviews at a time.
Yes. I was going to ask you to do the intro before you also took a sip of water.
Okay, well, welcome back to ROC Movie Reviews, everybody.
Yes, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. In our last review, we went back to the horror genre, and we talked about at least one of my favorite horror films, The Cabin in the Woods. Today, we're going to stay in that same genre, but we're going to do a bit of a throwback.
Yeah.
Because this is a 1980 film, and as you can tell from the thumbnail, you already know.
Yeah.
This is one of the best horror films
of
all time. I know I said I love The Cabin in the Woods, but this is on a whole nother level.
And it originally started out as a book.
It did.
And it's one of the greatest horror books I've ever read.
Yes. I have not read the book, but I've heard from everybody that the book is excellent, and obviously the movie. I know there were deviations that Stephen King didn't love that Stanley Kubrick did.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting about that, and I'm just judging it as a movie itself.
Yeah.
I love this movie. I saw it a lot later than I should have. I watched it before Dr. Sleep. So before we get into it, we are talking about Stanley Kubrick's horror masterpiece in both our opinions.
Yeah.
The Shining.
Mom, do you really want to go and live in that hotel for the winter?
Sure I do. It'll be lots of fun.
The only thing that can get a bit trying up here during the winter is the tremendous sense of isolation.
Is there something bad here?
I fear you will have to deal with this matter in the harshest possible way.
I do that. I killed you with Danny.
You did this to him, didn't you?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains. Here's Johnny.
And fun fact, I visited the actual hotel that they shot in years ago when I was in Colorado. And I didn't have any context because I had never seen the movie. I just knew that there was this foreboding atmosphere about it.
Yeah.
But there was nothing else that I did. Now knowing I was actually in that hotel, not only kind of freaks me out more, but it's like, oh, that is so cool.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So Estes Hotel, I believe, in Estes Park, Colorado, is where they shot, and what became as what's the name of the hotel in this? The Overlook.
Oh, yeah.
The Overlook Hotel. I'm sorry, I had a brain cramp. So, for the people who don't know what the story of The Shining is, I guess I'll go through it. A family heads to an isolated hotel for the winter where a sinister presence influences the father into violence while his psychic son sees horrific forebodings from both past and future. Yeah.
That definitely fits The Shining.
It does.
In every sense of the word.
And before seeing this movie, I had seen that Here's Johnny scene so many times, and I didn't understand the context of it. It always kind of made me feel kind of startled, or kind of like...
That's pretty much what they were going for.
That is exactly what they were going for, and each time it plays, I still get the same feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that authenticity that Kubrick brought to that scene and just to the movie in general. There are so many images in this movie that are iconic in horror culture now. I mean, Red Rum, the woman in the bathtub.
The twins.
The twins! The blood coming out of the elevator.
Yep.
Oh, God, what else? The hedge maze.
Oh, yeah.
We already talked about the Here's Johnny scene. We almost listed 10 memorable scenes, and that's just from one movie.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean... Yeah, and this movie still, when I rewatch it, when I go back and revisit it, it still gives me that same sense of just, it's eerie and it's chilling, and we talked about that woman in the bathtub scene. That's probably the scene for me that I have to, I have to really, I don't want to watch that scene because I'm like, oh, God! Yeah. Every time it gets me, and even when they reenacted that certain scene in Ready Player One.
Yeah.
it didn't have the same effect, but it reminded me of that scene, and I was like, oh, they're really going for it.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that Ready Player One, a totally different movie and a totally different genre, actually paid tribute, an entire act of it is paid tribute to this movie,
Yeah.
just speaks to the greatness of the original film.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's pretty much impossible to not know what The Shining is.
Definitely.
That being said, yeah, so that's the plot of the plot and the story of the movie. I guess we'll just jump right into the cast.
Yeah.
It's a very, very small cast. This was an
Yeah.
80s movie, so...
It only revolves around 3 people, the dad, the mom, and the son.
That's correct, and there's really only one other fourth person worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance in this movie is a force to be reckoned
Yeah.
with.
I mean, he is brilliant.
He is so good, so chilling, so gleefully insane. I mean, oh god, the scene where he's walking up the stairs towards Wendy and he's talking about how he just wants to bash her brains in.
Yeah.
Oh!
Just telling her to stop swinging the bat. I'm like, well, how do you expect her to stop swinging the bat if you're acting like this?
Yeah, I know. Oh, so good, such a good scene. I just forgot about that, but so many great lines and scenes. I think this is still my favorite performance from Jack Nicholson.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ever. It is cemented into horror culture and cemented into his career.
Oh yeah.
I think he's still probably best known for this movie. Shelley Duvall, who unfortunately does not, she's not an actress anymore because Kubrick did certain things and pushed her to a limit to get the best possible performance out of her in this movie. I don't agree with his tactics.
Nah.
But her performance is excellent.
Oh yeah.
I mean, really, really good. One for the ages. Shelley Duvall plays Wendy Torrance, and this is probably the role that she's best known for as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
She kind of dropped out of acting shortly after. And then Danny Lloyd plays the son, Danny. And usually it could go one or two ways with child actors. They're not good at all,
No.
or they end up being really good.
Oh yeah.
Danny falls into the category of really good.
Yeah.
He's innocent. The scene where he's actually inciting red rum to his mother while she's sleeping.
Yeah.
Just chills all over. Chills all over. Scatman Crothers played Dick Halloran, who I believe was... What was his role?
I think, wasn't he a ghost at that bar?
Well, yeah, but I thought he was an actual person in the hotel. I thought he was like one of the hotel managers or something.
No, I thought it was a ghost.
Well, Jack kills him. Actually kills him towards the end of the movie, so I don't think he's a ghost. He's a ghost in the second one, but not... I don't remember. But anyways, Dick Halloran, Scatman Crothers, didn't actually know who played him until now. Obviously, he has died since then, but great performance, and true legendary actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think there's really anybody else worth mentioning. All the rest of the people are just all ghosts that show up to Jack in his visions.
Oh yeah.
So it's a very small cast. It's essentially just 3 main people, and there's kind of a 4th person that comes in here every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, before we get into cinematography, do you remember that scene where I think Wendy sees a guy in a suit on a bed, and then that guy in that weird bear costume?
I think so.
That was so random. There still is no explanation for it, and just the fact that there's no explanation for it makes it all the more terrifying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And the zoom cut where they zoom in on the face of the bear-looking guy. Oh, God. A scene doesn't even have to make sense necessarily if it's effective.
Oh yeah.
And that's the prime example of that kind of a scene. God, Kubrick, you know how to scare the living crap out of people.
Definitely.
You really did a great job. Cinematography, as we're moving on to that, is by... I actually don't know. I think it's John Alcott. Photographed by John Alcott. Did other Kubrick films such as A Clockwork Orange, another Kubrick film that's very well known.
Never seen it.
I haven't seen it either. It's controversial. But I've heard of it many times. 2001, A Space Odyssey, another cult Kubrick film. I haven't seen 2001, A Space Odyssey, but I know people rave about it.
Yeah.
And then some people say it's way too slow and it makes no sense. We'll just have to see for ourselves when we watch it. It's very long though, isn't it?
I think
it's pretty... An epic drama, adventure, and exploration. Yeah, it's 2.5 hours long. It's
Yeah.
long. It's long. It looks like that's really anything of notice that in The Shining. So he worked with Kubrick. He was Kubrick's cinematographer. This is a great looking film. You talked about the scene with the hallway and the twins. The cut from them talking, "Come play with us, Danny, forever and ever," and then you see them all dead and blood spatter walls and the axe in the God. Again, another scene that sticks with you and pretty much never leaves your subconscious. It's
definitely.
just, oh my God, really effective, and this movie still holds up. 4 decades later.
It's 40 years old.
It's a 40-year-old film, and it
Yep.
still holds up. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Holy crap! I didn't realize it was 40 years old.
Oh yeah.
My God. Just goes to show that if someone puts a ton of work and time into something and had a vision of what they wanted to do and they perfected that vision, it can last for generations.
Oh yeah.
And clearly it
Without
has.
question.
Yeah. Wendy Carlos and Rachel Elkind scored this film. Not familiar with either of them, but I gotta say, this score is iconic.
Definitely.
It is so haunting and unsettling, and the minute you hear it, you're like, The Shining.
Yeah.
It's so recognizable as a musical score.
Definitely.
Excellent stuff. Enough beating around the bush. The Shining for me gets 10 out of 10. It's
Same
an
here.
all-time
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
Yep.
All-time great horror film. I wish I had seen it sooner than I did, but I'm glad I saw it, because the reason why I saw it is because Dr. Sleep was coming out.
Yeah.
And now that we both have seen Dr. Sleep, that'll be our next review.
Oh yeah.
So thank you for watching, everybody. That's our review of Kubrick's The Shining. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to say the same thing about The Cabin in the Woods. Even more so, you've never heard of The Shining? Do you live in a different country where the film's not able to be viewed? Anyway, but for those who have seen it, comment down below. Let us know what you think. Even if you don't love it, let us know why you don't love it.
Yeah.
Everybody's opinions, it's all subjective.
Oh yeah.
And that is the beauty of film and film criticism.
Definitely.
That's our review of The Shining. We will be back incredibly soon to talk about the long-awaited follow-up, Dr. Sleep. And until then, we'll see you in the next review.
Alright, see you.